Hello, welcome to Zentangle Explore. My name is Esther Piszczek, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And this is a class where we explore one Zentangle pattern really, really slowly while breathing. And we do it in your way. And I just give suggestions. So all you will need is a couple pieces of paper you can hold in the palm of your hand. I have watercolor paper here. You can use whatever you would like. And then a pen to draw with. I have a 01 Micron. I have a Sharpie pen, and I have a silver pen today. I'm always encouraging people to add colors, so I might play with that. But if you just have a ballpoint, that's perfect too. We're going to start out with a brief meditation just to bring ourselves into a nice, calm, slow space so we can draw nice, slow lines. And then we will draw. So get nice and comfortable in your seat, wherever you are. You can close your eyes if you'd like. I'm going to close mine. Oh, and just allow whatever has been happening for you in this day, in this evening, wherever you are, whether you're here live with me or on the replay sometime in my future. Just allow whatever that is to just gently float down to the ground, out of your awareness. Allow it to settle, knowing that it's there when you want to pick it up in the future. But for right now, you will just need your beautiful breath. Nice inhale. We'll stop at the top. Nice exhale. It'll stop at the bottom. Just tune into your body as that breath continues to cycle. Top of your head. Just a little easy, gentle, casual scan. If there's anything that's calling your attention, or if you're feeling any tightness in your forehead, your jaw, your shoulders, your hips, your knees, your toes, just allow it to invite it to relax. Perhaps send a little breath to any part of you that's wanting a little assistance in becoming fully present, fully conscious of this moment. Perhaps feeling a little gentle tug of gravity on your feet or your bottom or your arms, whatever it's touching a surface. Feel the gentle weight of your body as it rests, fully rests onto that surface, knowing that you are safe, that you are held by the chair, the bed, or the floor, the foundation of your building, by the very earth herself. Breathing, breathing, and allowing yourself to be as you are. And when you're ready, we can take a big inhale together. A nice sighing exhale. Allowing any residual tension to flow out of the body. Nice big inhale together. Exhaling and releasing. Allowing that sound to send a little massage, a little vibration through your body, just because. Calming the nervous system, one breath at a time. And one last big inhale together. And a nice exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes, knowing that whatever we create together will be perfect just as it is. Okay, thank you everybody for breathing with me. It's so helpful before trying to draw slowly. Just calm down, and breathing helps to do that. So it's a really great practice. All right, I'm going to change my camera and we will draw. All right, so I have, again, a couple of pieces of watercolor paper here, just so you can fit in the palm of your hand, all different sizes. You may want more than one. You might just draw on one, but you might want more than one in case you get excited about drawing this pattern. This is a 01 Micron that I have. I have a Sharpie pen, which is a felt tip. They're both permanent pens. But if you just have your Bic or whatever off your desk and a piece of copy paper, that is also perfect. And then I also have a silver pen here, which Signo silver pen, which I might use, I might not, I do not know. We will see. All right, so let us draw this pattern. And this is an exploratory class, so I'm going to show you the pattern and then you can explore it in any way you want to. This is a pattern that I'm calling it Spyndle. And it came from my exploration of the pattern Julie that we did last week. So we're going to start at the top with a little orb. And you can put this anywhere on your paper. It doesn't have to be the top, but it is a long band tangle. And so I'm starting at the top to give myself some room. You could start diagonally, you could start all the way to the right, all the way to the left, however you want. This is so funny. I love this class because I'm teaching. I'm not always thinking about what I'm doing exactly. Nice admission from the teacher. And so I have already done a variation. I am already exploring this pattern because that is not entirely how I draw it, but we're going to draw it this way and then I will show you the real way. And you can all laugh at me and that's totally fine. All right, so I have these four little one and then two and then one. So because we're exploring, we want to know what the components are of each tangle. So far we have these little orbs at the top. And then we're going to have our little spindle. And just a line that drops down. And if your line is a little bit wobbly, that is perfect. And then I'm going to just draw on my line and add a little, just a little leaf to the bottom of that. So you can play right just with this particular part of it. You can line them up in different ways. I'll show you here how you might line them up. You can start another one right from the tip here. You could add a line and then do your orbs or put the orbs right at the bottom of that leaf and then add your line. If you want to connect them, you can put a line up from here to the edge of the paper. But this is how I actually have been playing with this. So one little orb and then two little orbs. Just little sweet little balls. And then a second layer of two little orbs. And then the bottom orb. So this is how I've been playing with it. But this with the 4 is lovely. This with the 6 is also lovely, however you'd like to play with it. And that's an example of how you can vary this pattern by saying, oh, well, what if I want to put 8 orbs? What if I want to put 3 orbs? What if I just want 1 orb? And this doesn't have a whole lot of black. So if you have little spaces in here between your orbs, you can color that in. So what I've been thinking about while playing with this pattern is how we can explore without actually changing the pattern, but just exploring how we draw the pattern. So here are the components. We have this little grape cluster of orbs. We have a line, and then we have this little leaf at the bottom. And so any of those these orbs can be bigger, they can be all different sizes, they can be squares, they can be rectangles, they can be triangles. This doesn't have to be a straight line, it could be a curved line, it could be a zigzag line. This little leaf doesn't have to be a leaf, it could be another orb or a bulbous shape, it could be a square or a triangle, it can be anything that you want it to be. You can change it in any way you want to change it. But I've also been thinking about how to play with this pattern and how I draw it. So I can start with 1 orb And you guys can explore however you want. You can follow along with me or not. It's completely up to you. This spindle here can be a lot longer. And then if I add, I can start with it at the top, and then I can add these little orbs to it. That is, again, a variation because that is not what I intended. Anyway, that is completely possible to do that. And then I can either leave that one with the line or I can color it in. Maybe color this one in. And then my little spindle can be closer to the top. I'll try that again. Let's do that again. So the orb, and then the bottom orb, top orb, bottom orb, and then the line. And I made this really long, so I'm going to play with this by adding some more. All kinds of orbs in here, which might look a little crazy, and I don't care because this is an exploration. So whatever it is that I'm doing, I'm learning about the pattern and I'm learning about what I like and what I don't like. And so everything is perfect. And then what if I hold that leaf and put it off of the bottom instead of attaching it to the spindle? Absolutely anything goes. I love this pattern. It's darling. I just love it. And then what if you explored it by putting the spindle at the top or drawing it upside down? Here, I'm going to put these closer together. What if there was more than one little leaf shape? What if these connect together? So any what if question that pops into your mind is the perfect way to explore. If you're drawing it saying, well, maybe this line could be longer. Maybe this line could be 2 lines instead of 1 line. Maybe I could add some weighting or some black edging to it. Maybe the spindle is on one side and then on the other. Not the spindle, the little leaf. Maybe it separates. Maybe it turns black. Maybe it's filled with orbs. And so in an exploration, you're not required to like everything that you draw, but it is helpful to honor everything you draw. So to say, oh, beautiful line, you came from my beautiful pen. And because you came from my beautiful pen, you are worthy of being appreciated. I don't necessarily have to draw you over and over again for the rest of my life. I don't have to fall in love with you. But I can say, oh, you have merit because you appeared. And because you appeared, I can learn something from you about the next line that I might want to draw. And by doing that, we allow the lines that are showing up on our page to be there instead of wanting them to be not there. Because there's no erasing in Zentangle, and this is not strictly a Zentangle class, It is Zentangle adjacent because it came from my drawing practice of Zentangle. And I'm a Zentangle purist, so there is no erasing. And it's an exploration. So erasing would be completely counterproductive. And because it's an exploration, wanting your lines to be different or deleted or never there is also counterproductive because it limits the possibility for what comes next after that line or that shape that you've decided you don't like and don't want to exist. Absolutely everything is valuable in exploration, and I've really come to look at my life that way, that my life is an exploration, and everything that I am doing, every choice I make leads me to a new choice, new information, and from that information I make different choices. And without that information, whatever it is, it wouldn't be informing the new choice. And so it is valuable. And I have found that living that way leads to much less frustration and upset, although there's still plenty of that sometimes, depending on my mood and how much sleep I've gotten. But it makes it much easier to navigate life without constantly judging and criticizing myself, which is never pleasant. And really, I mean, there's enough people out there judging and criticizing us. I mean, just having us do it to ourselves just seems cruel. So another way to explore, if you leave the pattern exactly as it is say, all right, creative black, how can I add creative black to this? And you can do that in so many ways. You can add some black to these leaves. You can make your spindle darker. Add some shading to these orbs. Some weighting. You can add some rounding, which is where you just take those corners off. Wherever there's a corner that meets itself, you just put a little webbing there, a little black webbing to make it rounder. So we're starting with an orb, and we're exploring all the different components of this pattern spindle that just appeared to me. Just started, I think I was on the phone, there's a newspaper in front of me, I picked up a pen, and I played with part of the Julie pattern from last week and said, hey, I really like this. So we have these orbs and then a line and then this little leaf at the end. All of those all of these components, they're like puzzle pieces or ingredients in a recipe. So you say, well, I want to add less sugar, or I want to change the flour, or I want to add walnuts. Whatever it is, you can do that on your tile simply by altering the shape, the length, how they're put together, how they're joined. The order in which you draw the components. And all of it is up to you because it's your exploration, and your exploration need not look anything like mine. I'm always amazed because there are live students behind all of these recorded classes. Amazed at what my students come up with just from this simple prompt. This is a really lovely one for adding color either in the background, or we have all these orbs in this leaf type shape. So if you feel like exploring with color or even gray or a highlighter, it's a great pattern for it. And you can draw as many as you'd like on one page. And they don't, all of mine, I just realized this, they're all going vertically, but they don't have to. They can like go crazy all over your page. They can just float in space if you're not creating like a band out of them. You can go off of your page. But you can start a new little drawing on a new little piece of paper, or if you're drawing on a large piece of paper, you can just start in a different space. At any time. I love playing with big and small. I think it's really fun to just change those dimensions, make some parts bigger than normal and some parts smaller than normal. And it's a really simple way, with even without changing the shapes, if you just play with the size of each part of the shape. The whole thing changes, which is what I really love about this drawing practice, this exploration practice, is that you could draw this pattern, I mean, for the next week straight, and draw it every day, and probably draw it 3 or 4 times a day, just in little 5-minute increments. And you would discover so many new ways to draw it simply by changing one thing, one little thing. I just said, today I'm going to change this and explore just changing that one thing. Change the shape of the orb, or even just changing one of the orbs. You could just change one of them over and over and over again and see how many different ways you can imagine this pattern by just changing the one thing. And I bet you would discover so many wonderful, fun, fabulous, new, creative ways, not only to draw this pattern, but just to draw in general. I think that sounds super, super fun. To another page. And a bigger pen, just for fun. I'm going to use my Sharpie. And I'm going to let these just go wild across my page, because I can. And it just occurred to me, since it's an exploration class, we can do whatever we want. What if these things connected together with circles that are not circles? Lines that are not straight. And what's fun about drawing the lines that are not straight and circles, oops, oh my gosh, you can't see what I'm drawing. Sorry about that. Lines that are not lines and circles that are not circles is that they have a unique, like, beautiful resonance to them, that a straight line will always be a straight line, but a curved line or an orb that's not an orb will always have a very distinct, unique character to it that can't be replicated because it is so different. A straight line will always be a straight line. It will never differ from that, but a curved line or a wiggly line or a tremory hand line will always be absolutely unique. That is really special, I think, and a really good way to reframe if you're having any dismay or concern or frustration over not being able to draw a straight line, which I think is highly overrated. Although you will get better at drawing straight lines if you continue to draw lines in general, not necessarily straight lines, but if you draw lines in general, your straight lines will become straighter. That's just what drawing Zentangle patterns does. It's really magical. But these curved lines and wiggly lines and sort of, but not quite straight lines, those are really just gold. and so valuable and so misunderstood. Poor sideline, so misunderstood. Everybody wants a straight line. Everyone wants to sing soprano. Melody line, but didn't have the altos and the tenors and the basses and well, the tenor is kind of the male soprano. We would not have the beautiful, rich, layered tones that music gives us. And so all of these not straight lines or not quite straight lines have so much value. And I absolutely love that all of you came to draw with me today because I've been playing this pattern for a week, but I've never played with it like this, even though I have been exploring it. And that's what this class is all about, giving us time to settle and breathe and create something that we've never seen before. And we wouldn't have come up with if we had just set out to draw the pattern the way I imagined it originally. I really love drawing on envelopes and adding artwork to envelopes. I like to imagine it going out into the world and delighting the recipient or the mailman or the postal worker who's having a tough day, or just delighting me because I created it. Adding color, using highlighter, sending lines out into the mail, decorating envelopes. It's a really great way to practice tangles without having to feel like they need to be perfect or good enough. Just let them be what they are. Say, thank you, beautiful line. Thank you for inspiring me to draw another beautiful line. Thank you, line that I don't like and don't appreciate, for inspiring me to draw a different line. Thank you, hand and pen and eye, for working together. And when I stop trying to draw something perfectly, then something really incredible, unexpected shows up. Just hold the tangle loosely and say, what do you want to be? How do you want to be rendered on the page? What might it look like if I allow my hand to draw instead of allowing my brain to draw? What does my body want to? How does it want to express with pen and ink? with the idea of this pattern, but not necessarily having to be this pattern. And because it's an exploration class, absolutely anything that you come up with is literally perfect. All of it is good. All of it is meaningful and valuable. I had a student who actually ended up becoming a certified Zentangle teacher many, many years after she was drawing with me. And she said that it was the one coming to class was the one part of her life where she knew that whatever happened, it would be perfect. It would be absolutely fantastic. And she said it was her time to truly relax and allow. And I love that. I think when we come to our drawing practice with that idea, especially when it's a Zentangle Explore class, where that is the point, that is absolutely the point, to explore and embrace whatever it is that we're exploring. Then drawing becomes more fun. There's all kinds of ways that we are asked to be perfect or to do things properly or correct or the way other people want us to do them. And just allow this space to be one where you get to do whatever you want and you get to decide that all of it is good. How refreshing, how relaxing. So much permission. I often find in class, in fact, I pretty much always find in classes when my students are saying, oh, it's terrible, I don't like it, it's awful, that when we do the kind of show and tell at the end of the class, the response from the other students in the class, and they're responding just to the lines, just to the work, not to the commentary. No one's trying to make anybody feel better necessarily, otherwise they just wouldn't say anything. But the response is always like, oh my gosh, that thing that you said that you hated, that's my favorite part of this piece. It's so free, it's so wild, it's so unexpected, it's so surprising. And if that person had been given the choice, that's the one thing on their tile that they would not have chosen to draw. And what a shame it would be to not have created that one beautiful thing just because it didn't fit into the idea of what was supposed to or should or what was expected on the page. Creativity is not, it's not about creating perfection. It's about creating. And so when we practice creating, like we do in this class, I feel it makes it easier to create in life. By saying, oh, this is an exploration. Whatever it is that you're doing, trying, experiencing, this is just like in class. I'm exploring. I'm creating an opportunity to learn something new. I'm collecting data. Data that will help me to choose something new. And I have the opportunity to value this experience, whether I like it or not, but to honor it and value it as an opportunity to gather information. In other words, learning something new, learning something unexpected. Knowing that if it showed up and it is worthy of being appreciated. And nobody gets to take that appreciation away from us. We get to decide. We have far more power than we ever give ourselves credit for in shaping our own inner landscape. Okay, I said I was going to potentially play with the silver pen, and I am. Oh, a silver pen that works. Adding color, I'm very good with black and white, but adding color is always an exploration for me. It's not my wheelhouse. I have students who just do amazing, beautiful work with color, but it's something that I'm learning to do. I don't appreciate it. I just makes me a little nervous. So this is actually a great exercise for me to do this on camera with all of you. It takes me completely out of my comfort zone. And that is a fantastic thing to have happen, to get out of the comfort zone. So thank you for being here and helping me to do that. Okay, here are my explorations. I think that they're wild and fun. I hope that you feel the same way about whatever is on your page, and that maybe you keep drawing this pattern for a while. All right, thank you so much for coming to draw with me. I'm so excited always to draw with you. If you would like to find more of my classes, you can do so right now at rejuventangle.com. You can visit my website at eternalpossibility.com. And this is a free class, but if you would like to donate to this class, you can do so at paypal.me/eternalpossibility. So I hope that you have a lovely week and you continue to draw or create in whatever way brings you joy. Thanks for joining me.